People, what's going on? People, what's going on? All right, appreciate you guys actually being here. For those who don't show up, those who don't show up a little bit later, being in the building, it is what it is. Not gonna be a big one, big conversation because I'm like, I have not been on really for a while because, quite frankly, I'm going through some other stuff, things that I'm going through, and my jaw is killing me. I've got this nasty thing going on. Anyway, I kind of want to have a conversation with you guys, but I'm really working on a lot of different stuff. So if I'm seem like been a little bit distant, that's cool. But also I'm working on a lot of different stuff now that we are. Damn, it's hot. Like every time I keep turning the thing off, it's like immediately I feel the difference. So there is a bit of a moving around that I'm doing because I'm always thinking about the new wave of things that we take care of in terms of content, right? And now we are officially entering Q3. So that's where we are right now. This stream is not going to be anything heavy whatsoever. I didn't put a whole lot to it. A lot of my focus is going to be on what we're doing in the future. But those who are already here, I know a lot of people just like to bounce back and forth. Oh, Resto already came in here. He said, boy or a girl. I don't know what you mean by that, Resto. I don't know what you mean by boy or a girl. I don't know what you mean, but he's been a member for 9 months. Said boy or girl. There's no boy or this girl. And of course, we got Lep in the building as well. Leopard is in the building. What's going on? I do want to mention a couple of things. And then I want to talk about the thing that sparked this conversation, because if not, I probably wasn't even going to go live. And that is the aspect of having a changed mind. So for the first and foremost, this is just going to be a very, very, very light kind of stream before we ever start ramping up into anything for the next quarter. I'm way too busy with regular life, and I'm trying to make sure that I give enough time to my streaming life, which is really just a content life. So I'm really focusing a lot more on that of late. But nonetheless, in the direction of where we are moving in the platform. But with that being said, we're gonna cut that shit short because we don't really want to say too much. Oh, you know what's so funny about it, Resto? You're probably gonna get a message, or rather, you should be getting a message, from Blind, and it involves you, me, Kev, and Blind. You should be getting a message. Whether you will, I can't really say, but apparently there needs to be a bit of a powwow, just to let you know ahead of time. If you get the message, let me know. I haven't sent it. I'm just letting you know. And I want to talk about a little bit about a changed mind. Now, what do I mean when I'm talking about a changed mind? I think that a lot of people want more for themselves. I think most of us do. Most of us want the most for ourselves or want the best for ourselves. But wanting more does not mean that we are reading everything correctly. Sometimes we are misread as people. Sometimes we are misreading situations. Sometimes we look at what is right in front of us, but what we are seeing is being filtered through what we already believe. And that matters. It matters because once an ideal gets in our head, we can start treating it like it makes sense before we have really actually started questioning it. You know, what starts thinking of what we when we start thinking about how it could work for us, we need to see a bigger picture and all the benefits and also all of the drawbacks that can come from it. And I think a lot of people don't do this, right? We picture the outcomes. We don't think about the road to perdition, as they say. We picture what it could become, but we may not stop to actually just ask the very simple question. Is this only for our benefits? Is it for me? Is it for a group? Is it for the majority? And I think this is something that needs to get put into perspective because that changes the entire dynamic of the thing that you're chasing. For example, when I make content, I try to think about the person who may need to hear it. It does not start with me just wanting something. It starts with the end in mind. And I know a lot of people, or rather, there are people who don't see it as such. I try to start with the end in mind. So what is this supposed to do to actually help somebody understand? What should they what should they walk into hearing and what they should walk away thinking about? What is the point of me even saying it? And then I work backwards from there. A lot of people say a lot of people like to say you should start with the foundation and then build your way up. And I'm not against that. I'm not against the theory of that as well. It's a very practical thing. Then I have to think about how it works for me or not. Because I can understand what people say start with the foundation and then build the way up. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of resources that you have today are already easily purchased. So that means the foundation is already something that you don't have to mix together yourself. But the way I'm thinking about it is I need to know what's the roof supposed to do? What is it supposed to protect me from? From the roof, I work my way down. So I start with the end in mind. The roof matters because that is what covers you. Then I have to think about the walls because that is the part of the that's going to protect me from the elements of the wind on the side, but also from the predators lurking on other sides of me. After that, I have to consider how do I support the wall as well as the roof? What keeps the what keeps the covering, the protection standing? What keeps the roof from falling? What makes sure that the walls stand firm? What makes the whole thing strong enough that it's actually useful? Oh, we got Billy in the building as well. What's good, Billy? And then comes the foundation for me. Because now I know what I am trying to uphold. This is where a lot of people get lost, including me, by the way. Because I can say that from experience, I've learned to work my way backwards rather than building everything up, starting from the bricks. Sometimes we think about what should, or sometimes we think about what could be, but we do not think enough about how things actually get developed. And I think this is the difference between, say, like a low level construction worker versus that of a um, an architect. You just think very different about things. We think about the possibilities before we think about the actual process. And part of part of that part of that comes from living in a world where so many things are already existing. That's just the way how I've always come to see how a lot of people move. And again, no shade, no disrespect to people who have that mindset, because we all got to start somewhere, right? We walk into systems that are already created. We benefit from the ideals that were already worked on and worked through that we never actually touch. So when we finally come up with something that we feel that is our own, that is something we built ourselves, something that we feel is original just because it's new to us, we tend to run with it really quick. But new to you does not mean new in general. And that is why research matters. It's not to kill your ideal, not to make you feel like you cannot create anything, but research helps understand what you actually are working with and whether you can improve on such a thing. Because what you want, or rather what you want to do, what you want to spend time on, is all about building something. It's about once it's actually built and actually shown to be a thing that's tangible, then you can name it, then you can defend it, and you can start presenting it as if it's like something that is nowhere else. Oh, but there's nothing worse than you doing all that effort to only find out later that what you've been working on has already been built. It's already been named. It's already been tested. They've already found the problems that you haven't even thought about finding yet. They already figured out what works and what does not. That does not mean, by the way, that does not mean you cannot add to it. It doesn't mean that you can't learn to revolutionize it. It does not mean that your version has no value. But you should at least know what came before you. And I think a lot of people, what this motherfucker did. You say bad night by, what did he do? He did something. He did something. What you do, Resto? Nightbot don't like Nightbot is barely talking. So that the fact that bite you did something. Did you spam emojis, Resto? Just something to think about. Um, so here's a good way of putting it, right? It's like cooking a dish. You can put ingredients together, right? That's the ingredients or ingredients. That's crazy. You can put ingredients together. You can try to make something very different. You can make something that feels original to you. But after you've created the dish and it's something that you like, that you believe is tasty, there should be a part of you that asks this very simple question. Has somebody already made this dish before? Because maybe it is your own version of something that's already existed. Maybe it is, or maybe it already has a name. Maybe it already has a history behind it. Perhaps. Maybe there is a better way to make something that already exists more of yours. The idea is that when you're making mistakes early and you're not checking to see if other things were already built, that could be a problem for you. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. It's not. The thing that I am talking about are people who are saving time for themselves. Too many people protect the ideal of being original more than they protect the time it takes to actually build something correctly. I've been very much a victim of my own circumstance when it comes to this. Everybody wants to feel like they have the first thought. Everybody wants to feel like they discovered something new, all being Columbus and shit like that. But if the thought already exists, it is better to know that early on than wasted months, possibly even years, to prove your sense of ownership over something that you could have learned about in a couple of hours. That is where a change mind comes in. A change mind is not just about making better personal choices. It is about being willing to question the way that you see things. It is being able to say, maybe I read this shit wrong. It is being able to say, maybe the idea is not as clear as I thought. Maybe it is being able to say, maybe I need to understand what already exists before I want to create something that I consider to be new. Maybe. And that is the kind of honesty that you can only have with yourself, because hearing it from someone else may not be something that you will take in stride. Because time is the one thing, the one most precious thing that I say to you guys all the time that you have. Your money doesn't mean anything. You can give it all away. You can spend it all. The lessons that you learn, the experience that you have, the knowledge to be able to rebuild and to regain your resources, that's more precious than just having the resources yourself. You can have a shit ton of mangoes. You can give away all your mangoes. But if you don't know how to bring out the benefits of your mango tree, all those mangoes you have will be useless. Being able to grow more mangoes is the thing that's going to keep you alive. It really is that simple. So you can get another ideal. You can meet other people. You can find new opportunities. But the time that you spend refusing to check yourself, refusing to research, refusing to slow down, and refusing to see clearly is time that you can never get back. So yes, want more for yourself. Absolutely do that. But do not let wanting more make you careless. The same way it was told to me, read the room correctly, not read the room clearly. Read it correctly. Read the people correctly. Read yourself correctly. And when you get an ideal in your head, do not just ask how far it can take you. You got to ask, what is it supposed to do? Who is it supposed to be for? And ask, Why should they even exist? Ask what needs to be built underneath it so that it doesn't collapse under your own momentum, because you're placing too much weight on it. Because wanting more is not enough. You have to build it with the mindset that it will be able to last a long time. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we get ideals in our head, right? But there's nothing more powerful than a changed mind. And a lot of times we get ideas in our head and we don't think about the change that could actually happen to us or happen for us. You can change your hair, you can change your wardrobe, you can change where you live, you can change the car that you drive, you can even change the partner that you're with. But if you do not change your mind, you will keep falling into the same traps over and over again. So when I'm having conversations with people, whether it's people that's online, whether it's people that in real life, a lot of people will tell you what they want or how much they can or they're willing to change. But then when you look at them, it's so easy for them to fall back into traps, fall back into comfort that they're already used to. This is why one of the most biggest scams, but also the most biggest grifts, are based on the most simplest of things, like weight loss. Because weight loss has nothing to do with trainers. Weight loss has nothing to do with gyms. Weight loss doesn't even have anything to do with your diet. Weight loss first starts with your mindset. Your mindset, your commitment to the change, to the doing things differently, to saying that enough is enough, to saying like it's this or nothing. That is the thing that's going to help push you forward. You can eat well for a week. You can eat well for a year. But even if you eat that wellness, that well stuff in abundance, you will find yourself still in the same fucking predicament. So everything comes with a healthy dose of moderation. The things that you do look at, the things that you do monitor, and the things that you even have to know that as much as you want it, you're going to have to abstain from it. It means that you will actually have to portion yourself out in moderation. You can say this to our business. You can say this when it comes to dealing in your relationships. You can say this about the attention that you give, but also the attention that you receive. You can say this about the intake of your food. You can say this about a lot of things in life. And I think too many times, if you do not think of the whole instead of just the slice of the pie that you're looking at, it's all going to go bad. If you have a whole pie and you leave that whole pie out, but you took out your slice and your slice is the one thing that goes into the refrigerator or freezer, so it doesn't prevent the rest of the pie from going bad. And I think a lot of people need to really look at it that way. So when we are doing things now in our own lives, when we are considering the route that we take in life, how many of you guys are thinking with everyone else in mind? It could be your children, it could be your spouse, it could be your immediate family, it could be your distant family. Or are you only simply thinking about what will be beneficial for you? Because nothing else will last it. If it's just, I hate to say it, if it's just going to be about you, it won't last. Because life has always been about choices, trade-offs, and other people. We don't just do shit ourselves. And that is what it is. That's the only way that I'm really putting it. Now, I know it's not something that is nice. It is not something sexy that wants to be talked about. It's not something that wants to be researched. But too many times people fall for distractions. They want the distraction more than anything else, and then they wonder where all their time went. So having someone like that, say myself, say like you should really try to get rid of your distractions so that you can focus more on the things that's going to help make your life better. For some reason, hearing that is a no-no. It's a no-no. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear that, damn, this motherfucker's right. Like, I have been wasting a lot of my time on trivial shit. And I really do need to focus. It's weird, like, because we say this for like the people who go working for a paycheck for a living, right? You want to do all that working, all that hard time, all those hours slaving for a company that doesn't care about you, never will care about you, so that you can spend the last, not even quarter of your years finally doing what would make you happy. Now you're in your late 60s or 70s, and now you're talking about traveling. You're fucked. You're fucked. You cannot enjoy half the shit, half the fucking shit that you thought that you would have. What's good, Joe? Half the shit. Because you didn't prioritize the one thing that was the most important, your time. You didn't prioritize that. You let it slide because you spent more time on other people than you did yourself. I mean, again, nothing wrong with that because they got something out of you. I just think that you really sucked at negotiating. And unfortunately, you can't get that time back. So you need to be very aggressive when it comes to the things that you want in life because too many of us in the world are coasting. And that really is what it is. A lot of people don't even realize that they're coasting. A lot of people think that they're doing a lot, but they're running in place. And that means me too. I have to always do a reassessment to figure out where I'm at and what am I doing. I think a lot of people think they're getting a lot of shit done when the truth of the matter is that they're moving like a rocking chair. They're rocking back and forth, but they're not actually going anywhere. They never moved off that fucking corner or that fucking porch. So when I'm asking you guys, where exactly is your mindset? And how easy is it for you to have something or someone or something drag you back to that mindset and you'll be stuck versus you developing the strategies, the frameworks, the blueprint to actually have you move forward. And then also when you start feeling that urge to go back to the thing that made you most comfortable, that you have checkpoints in place that say, if you do that, you're about to lose everything you just built. A lot of people have not put themselves in that position. A lot of people. Because the biggest beast that you will encounter in your life is not other people. It is the beast within. The thing that you can't let go of. If you say you want to be a millionaire, before you ever get $1 in your fucking bank account, you have to develop a millionaire mindset. If you want to be a leader of your company, maybe you're working for a company right now, you want to be the leader of your team, right? Survivability, how long you worked in a company does not guarantee that you will become a leader. For you to become a leader in your department or your firm or whatever, you're going to have to first develop a leadership mindset. You're going to have to learn skills that you didn't already have. That I know I've seen too many people that think that they should become something because they have survived long enough. And that's not the way it works, especially in today's economy. People are still losing their jobs, by the way, left, right, and center. So ask yourself, what are you contributing to the outcomes is going to be the thing that you're doing in your life? Outcomes, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that we can really measure at the end of the day is the outcomes. You can talk about how you wanted, how you wished, how you thought, but your outcomes are the thing that you're going to be dealing with on a regular basis. You can predict, you can detest, you could do all that. But at the end of the day, the thing that you deal with is your outcomes. You can say, I didn't expect to get this bill, but you got it. Now you got to deal with it. These are your outcomes. What position are you putting yourself and to have as little consequences, because you're going to get them, but as little consequences versus the ones that you choose to ignore until they're sitting on your doorstep. And that all starts with your mindset. But your mindset must first go through something first. Because who you are to be, you are now becoming. And that is change. And before you change your habitat, before you change your diet, before you change your partner, before you change your friends, before you change where you, all that different stuff. The first thing you must change is your mind. I'm guaranteed that someone's out there going, he don't know what he's talking about. I don't need to change my mind. I'm great the way I am. Life is great. I'm gonna be great. Everything has been great. Everything will always continue to be great. And I'm going, cool. I guess the weather has always been great. I guess the seasons have always been great. I guess your money has never moved up or down. It's just always stayed the same. You've never been sick. You're not getting older. None of that stuff. Everything is just, and I think these are the people who deal with the most delusion. And by the way, not for me to wake you up. In fact, I want you to be there. I want you to sit in delusion. Because there's nothing better than having somebody knowing and having somebody who sits in abundance and don't know what the fuck to do with it. Nothing better than that. Because that's one less person I have in my way. So I'm not willing to tell you shit. I will leave you exactly where you're at. Why would I want you in my way? Now, I will also have people that turn around and say, well, Resla, that's mean of you. Why would you do that? And I go, why would I not do otherwise? Not everybody's here for you. You have to really you're really going to have to really work on the fact that there's going to be a very limited amount of time that you can shed in the world. And you have to be very careful about the people that's around you. Because it's not like the things that you will always do, which is a factor, by the way, that will fuck up how your life is. It's going to be other people. Other people will make things difficult for you. For those who are working at a job, just be honest. If you got an easy enough job or you got a decent job, is it the job that really fucks things up for you? Or is it the people on the job that fuck things up for you? I think you guys already know the answer. And if you're telling yourself that it's not anything else, I'm not here to convince you otherwise. Only thing I ask is that you think about it. My opinion doesn't really matter. How you see the world will matter to you and to you only. And I think too many times we run across people that turn around and say that their opinions of the world matters for everyone. And I go, so deluded, so wrong. But my thoughts and my thoughts only. And that, honestly, to be honest with you, that's all I really got on the subject of changing your mind, because there's nothing much you can really do about it. You can talk about going to church. You can talk about doing whatever. You can go talk about seeing a guru. You can go become a fucking Tibetan monk. You can do whatever. You can learn about everything you want to, but if you don't learn to change your mind, none of it's going to matter at the end of the day. Because you don't develop any new strategies. You don't develop a new habit. A great example would be this. You decide you want to go traveling, right? If all you do is eat hamburgers and hot dogs and you go to China, good luck to you. You go to Italy, good luck to you. You go to Africa, good luck to you. You have to be able to adapt. And the best thing to actually help prepare you for when you're there is to do research. And too many times we don't do research. So a lot of people like to say that they have great a great understanding, a great idea of the things that they want to do in the world. But here's the truth of the matter: a lot of times, people have wishful thinking, and wishful thinking doesn't do anything without practical application. You know what's another thing that's also very disappointing? This is why I also try to say, like, I'm trying my best, especially for 2026, not to open my mouth. Because when you say that the things that you're going to do, you set other people up for expectations. And when you don't come through, worse if you even forget yourself, that becomes part of your character. That becomes part of the thing that people know you for. So it's best that you move in silence. And then people get things unexpected rather than you hype people up for things and then they're expecting it. They even cheer you on and then you don't come through. To me, that's the biggest disappointment. Because imagine your parent. Your parent says, I'm gonna get you that toy, that bike, that whatever. And they don't come through. Now, maybe they don't come through because maybe they passed away. Accidents happen, things like that. But it's nothing worse than when they say they have this thing in mind. They're going to do this thing for you. They're going to commit. They're going to come through, and they never do. And they don't even have a good excuse as to why it happened. It's just like, yeah, nah, fuck that shit. And I think too many times as people, we do this to ourselves. We set ourselves up based on what we say to people, but we're not really committed. It just sounds nice. And this is why I tell you guys, think about the things that you say when you look at your values. Because I think a lot of people pick up values that they see from other people. And it sounds nice. So they say, these are my values, but they haven't actually tested it. You got to be willing to get hurt for the things that you want. You got to be willing to, after you get hurt, to still believe them. And I don't think a lot of people are really shaped to be that way. Respectfully. I've seen too many people say who they are and what they expect. And then when you test them, they fold. Like origami. Multiple layers, just folding. So when you're moving through life, when you're with your family, your friends, your children, your spouse, who are you exactly? What are the things that you actually believe in? And the things that you say that you are, have they really translated to your actual life? Is it time for a change? Are you able to even change your mind? Are you able to do it? Because a lot of people believe in change. They believe in change, but they're not willing to actually implement change. It just sounds nice to say that you have changed. It is very difficult to look back to see just how much you have changed. But what do I know? I'm just a normal guy. I'm a regular guy, regardless of what anyone says or what everyone thinks, or just a normal guy. So you figure out what you want to do for yourself. And I guess until then, I will see you in the next one. No need to belabor a point. Later, guys.